Hi, my name is Megan, and this is Everything Lit. And today, I'm going to talk about my November wrap-up. Welcome back to my channel. This month was wild because I got my hair re-dyed, so that was fun. But I had some really high highs. I had 6 5-stars. Yeah, 6 5-stars. So it was a good time, but there were really low lows because I have 2 2-stars. Yikes. November was the first month that I did my new TBR game, TBR jar. And before I get into reviews, just gonna run through what I pulled and what I read for it. So I pulled poetry and I read Thunderbird Inn by Colin Callahan. I'll talk more about this in a sec. I pulled nonfiction and I read 2 books for this, Notes on Grief and The Woman in Me. I pulled fantasy as a genre and I put In an Absent Dream on my list by Shauna Maguire. But technically I could have used Iron Flame for this. Either way, I completed it. And really the only thing that I didn't get to was I pulled Roll a Dice and I rolled a dice and it said I had to read an 800-page book. I have started Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I am currently 174 pages in out of the 803. It'll be in my December wrap up, but we're having a slow time of it. So first book I finished this month was Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. Oh my gosh. Me and Ashley Winstead are on a journey this year, but it is a really good journey. I think I've given her 4 and 5 stars exclusively. I just need to read her romances now and call it good. But Midnight is the Darkest Hour might be one of my favorite books of the year. It was incredible. The writing, the suspense, the tension, the characters, the setting, everything about it, fantastic. This is about a girl who's part of this really religious fundamentalist family. Her father is the head of this kind of rogue church and they've built it up from the ground, and her best friend is a boy from the wrong side of the tracks, and he comes back every summer to check on her and hang out with her since he escaped. And their relationship was so good, and the tension in this book, the way I did not know where it was going, but the way it all came together in the end, those final couple scenes, I cannot, just 10 out of 10, phenomenal. Absolutely one of my favorite books of the year. But here's the thing, let me tell you my little journey. So I got this on ebook form from the library. My ebook ran out, so then I bought it in ebook format because I'm not buying the hardcover. I probably should have because I really love it, but I'll wait for the soft cover. It's fine. So I bought it in ebook format, and the ebook said it had 880 pages, okay? And I was on page 800. I thought I had 80 more pages to go. I was ready for it. I was at work, had to come back from lunch and actually do work. And I got home and I settled in to read, the last 80 pages because tension stuff was happening. I was excited. It was all I could think about those last couple hours at work. I get home and the book ends on page 810. I only had 10 pages left. I got to the end, and the way this ends, I got to the end and I went to the next page and I was like, what? It was the acknowledgements, and I went back and I read the last page again and I went forward and I was like, wait, what? I thought I had so much more to read and I thought I was gonna get more resolution, and I was so upsetty spaghetti that the book ended there. I wanted it to keep going. I wanted so much more of these characters and what they were gonna do, and just yeah. So 5 stars, but be prepared for that ending because oof. And then from that really high, we had a low, and that is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. I listened to this on audio for the most part. The audiobook was fine, but the ending, there were just so many you really have to suspend your disbelief for this. I gave this 2 stars. So this is about a girl who is back at Dalloway School after a year off. She was in a mental hospital because her girlfriend killed herself, and she was struggling with it. She comes back to school. They're in these dorms. It's boarding school for girls. And the other character is brand new to the school, and that is Ellis, and she is a famous novelist. She's won the Pulitzer, and these girls are in high school. They're like 17, okay? And then like they want to investigate the Dalloway Five and these like supposed witches that were murdered in different ways on the campus, because Mrs. Dalloway, the head of the Dalloway school, she like created it, you know, whatever. There was just so much. I feel like maybe the marketing, like I just feel like this book needed someone to say, hey, why are you making it YA? There was no good reason that these people needed to be in high school, in like this boarding school high school, when they easily could have just been in college, and then everything would have made so much more sense. You make them like 20, 21. There was so much drinking, there was so much smoking, there were, you know, it was like it was just about vibes, and I could not, my suspension of disbelief wasn't there. I wasn't here for it. I was just like, why are they in high school? Why did you choose to put them in high school? I could not get past it. And then there's like these weird, I don't know, hallucination bits, and like you can't really trust the narrator, but you also can't really trust Ellis, and also like a 17-year-old who won the Pulitzer for her first book. Like, come on, it was pretentious. I'm gonna say it was pretentious. And the ending, come on. I literally wrote notes. Do I have them in the book? No, I have them in my other notebook. I was listening to the ending on audio and just being like, why? For what? Why? And like the main character, Felicity, has this like moment with her mom where she like stands up for herself, and her mom has been absent most of the book. Like, it just didn't need to be there. That storyline didn't need to exist. Make them in college. Make them in college. So yeah, this was a 2-star. Did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the romance aspect. I didn't enjoy the mystery aspect. I didn't enjoy the resolution. It was just kind of a mess, and it makes me really scared because I own 3 other of her books, and this was the first one I read, and I did not enjoy it. So then I listened to Notes on Grief by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Sorry if I messed that up, but she's the author of Americana and several other books that are beloved, well-known award winners. And this is her nonfiction kind of essay. It's kind of a conglomeration of essays. I listened to it on audio. It was only like an hour and a half long, so it's a very short thing about her father passing away during the pandemic. It was kind of sudden, unexpected, and it was hard to listen to. It made me cry a lot, but I think it was helpful, and it kind of inspired my own nonfiction essay that I'm working on. So I gave it 5 stars. It's really hard to like rate something like this because she is just writing about her personal experience with grief and grieving and what that felt like. So on the one hand, I could totally understand someone like not rating it just because it is personal. I'm gonna give it 5 stars because why not? And then I read In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. Guess what? Another 5-star. I could probably bump this down to 4.5, but this is book number 4 in the Wayward Children series, and this follows Lundy, and she steps through a door into the Goblin Market. The Goblin Market has like checks and balances, and you have to pay debts or take on debts, and it was a very interesting world. I really loved the world building. I think it was well done, very clear explanations, but like there's definitely a haunting, like foreboding kind of feeling, even though Lundy is very honest and this system makes sense to her. She kind of gets into trouble. She gets caught between 2 worlds, and I think that it was a really sad, lovely story, and I gave it 5 stars. I listened to this on audio as well. The audiobook was really good, and I could see myself rereading this one because I really liked Lundy as a character, and I think the Goblin Market, I feel like listening to it on audio, I could probably get even more out of it if I read it physically. And then, so we go up, we got a 5-star, and then we got a 2-star. That is Thunderbird Inn by Colin Callahan. This was a random poetry by, and I thought the cover looked pretty, it sounded good, but I just did not connect to any of these poems. It's kind of a conceptual poem book about these two friends who are staying at this inn, and maybe the different people they meet, the different rooms that they see. I don't really know. I kind of got that, but it's very like drugs and drinking and what's real, what's not. Me and my friend snorted some lines, you know, just not my vibe. Didn't connect to it, didn't get it, unfortunately. So I did give this 2 stars, and I feel kind of bad about it. Maybe I shouldn't have rated it, because this poetry collection only has like 7 ratings on Goodreads, and they're not very high. You know, reading is subjective. We're just letting other readers know, hey, this is how we feel. Read The Woman in Me by Britney Spears, and this is a memoir. I thought it was fantastic. It is very simple. It is very easy to read, but it sounds like Britney, and that's kind of the point. And she did have a ghostwriter for this, because I know we talked about Elliot Page and how I think they should have had a ghostwriter. And then meanwhile, Paris Hilton and Britney Spears both did have ghostwriters, and their books, you can tell the difference. I think it was really exciting to get Britney's point of view and her side of the story. And some people are, you know, talking about the ethics and like the tea spilling and all this stuff about like Justin Timberlake. But as a 90s kid, as someone who grew up, when you're really young and you see these older people on TV, you think that they're so much older than they are. And it was really fascinating to see how truly young she was when she became the pop princess and this huge superstar. She makes some really good points about misogyny and sexism in the music industry, because there are men who are artists who are allowed to drink and smoke and do drugs and piss all their money away, basically. But she was put in this conservatorship because people were like afraid for her. Why wouldn't we believe, like at this point, why shouldn't we believe her if she says, you know, she didn't party that much, she had young kids? I was really interested in reading this book because I wanted to learn more about Britney and her life and this conservatorship, because I haven't watched like the documentaries and all of these things, but it was such a good, I don't know, arc to see just her whole life from when she was little, when she was a child, and to kind of hear her talk or write about that all the way up to the conservatorship, and now as like a 40-something-year-old woman getting to enjoy her life again and almost go back to that like childlike freedom where you have time to do whatever you want. So I gave it 5 stars. I think it was really good. I don't think it is like phenomenally written. I think it is good for what it is doing, and it sounds like her, and I think that's the point. It's straightforward and a bit simple, but not in a bad way. And then one of my most anticipated books of the year. I read Fourth Wing in July, and I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna like say it's a fantastic book, it's amazing, it's super well written. Other people have given critiques on it. I feel like I can't really give a critique on it because I was not reading it critically, right? This thing had just happened in my life, and I needed to not think about that thing. And Fourth Wing was escapism. It was engrossing. It was high tension. It was high stakes. I liked the characters. The romance had good tension. So I can't be objective about Fourth Wing, and that's fine. I'm letting you all know. If you don't like it, that's cool. But let me tell you, Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros was not it. This book is thick, and I think I read like 60 pages physically. I was like, this is taking forever. And I used an audiobook credit on Kobo to listen to the audiobook, because the audiobook of Fourth Wing is how I listened to that, and it was fantastic. The audiobook is still good, but oh my God, this was such garbage. Like, I gave it 3 stars because it's like, I think the last, 200 pages maybe, when we get into the action and the battles and the climax and whatever, that I really liked. And I do like the like battle scenes and the dragons, and it's very cool. Okay, so it gets 3 stars for that. But the romance, trash. The plot, nonsensical. The characters, there was no growth. The side characters really saved this one. What is this? What is this? And there was like this huge miscommunication trope, and like their whole big fight at the end is like, you never asked me about these things. And she's like, I shouldn't have to ask. And he's like, no, you need to ask her what you want to know. And it's like, how does she know what she doesn't know? How can she ask these questions? Like, and then like, he wouldn't sleep with her until she said, I love you. And like, it was just the most inane romance that I've read this year, maybe. I'm gonna put that out there. Absolutely did not have a great time. I was rolling my eyes and sighing listening to this audiobook and just angry and annoyed, and I think I bumped it up to like 2.5 speed at one point just to like get it over faster. And you know, if I bump a book above 2 speed, it's because I'm not enjoying it. And I didn't want to DNF it because like I already bought it. I want to finish it. I want to see what happens, because the first book had a big like plot twist at the end. This one also had kind of a plot twist at the end. I will read the third one. I will probably be mad about it. And then I read Snow Place Like LA by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is a novella set in the Merry Little Meet Cute Christmas Notch universe. And this is about two of the side characters. One is one of the, what are they called? Costumers. Costumers is not the right word, but they basically do the clothes for the movies and the stuff, right? Dressing. I can't think of what they're called. So he does that, and the other person is like a lighting. He helps with lighting, but really he's an artist. He just kind of helps out sometimes because his dad owns the like porn company in this universe. And so they both work in the porn industry. And this book in particular is queer. So they're both men. They are pretty cute together. So I think I rounded it up to 5 stars on Goodreads. I kind of gave it a 4.5 because one, I didn't really remember the characters all that well. I kind of did, but not really. 2, there was some miscommunication stuff that kind of bugged me. So it's rated so highly because the sex scenes were written really well, but I feel like the romance mostly happened in that other book, and this was kind of just a continuation to give them, you know, their happy ending. So I did like it overall. And then I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This is kind of like a light fantasy, cozy fantasy about Emily Wilde, who goes to like a Nordic country to study their fairies and their fae because she is compiling an encyclopedia of fairies. And in this world, she is an academic. They have, you know, academics that study fairies. Her academic rival slash friend shows up to help her compile this encyclopedia, and their banter is so much fun. And Emily gets kind of all entangled in this small town by asking them about what they've seen with fairies and their interactions with fairies. And then, you know, she goes looking for fairies, and spoiler alert, she finds some. And just her adventures, it feels a little, what do you call it? It feels a little episodic, but things do come together in the end. And I can't wait for the second book. I think I might buy it in hardcover when it comes out in January because I'm just so excited. And I kind of wish I had gotten the hardcover for this because the hardcover is really beautiful. I gave this 4 stars. And I think the only reason that I didn't give it 5 stars is because the beginning felt a little slow. The romance was cute. I really liked their banter. I really liked the world building and the fae. I liked our main character. But there was just something about it that was a little too slow for me. So I gave it 4 stars, but I can't wait to continue with this series. Oh boy, one of the worst books I've read that's not true. I read If This Gets Out. But definitely a not good book. The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brienne Randall. And boy, do I have a rant about this. So first of all, the marketing. Fans of Practical Magic and Gilmore Girls. Okay, I kind of see the Practical Magic comparison, but I did not like Practical Magic the book, and maybe I should not pick up books that are based on Practical Magic because I liked the movie, did not like the book. And I think that's an important distinction. Basically, our main character, Sadie, in this world, there are witches, and the people who have magic also have curses because of the rules of balance. So you get your magic, but you also have a curse. And you can give up your magic and also give up your curse if you want to. If your curse is so bad, you can give one up and the other up. Okay, cool, interesting. Our main character, Sadie, loves her magic above everything else. And her curse is that she is going to endure 4 heartbreaks, and those 4 heartbreaks are going to end up taking her magic from her. So she's trying not to have her heart broken. When we meet her, she believes that she's had 2 heartbreaks, and she's trying not to get any more. And then her sassy grandmother tells her that she's dying. So, okay, there's heartbreak number 3. And basically, this whole book is about a woman having valid, rational feelings of anger and distrust because the men in her life consistently let her down, and then being told that she should forgive them and she's being too hard on them and her feelings are irrational. Like, this book is gaslight, gatekeep, not girl boss, because she is just pushed down. I can't even explain how angry this book made me, and I really should have DNF'd it about 100 pages in, right? So let me tell you exactly when I should have DNF'd it. Our main character, her brother has left. She doesn't know where he is. They're not in contact. Her childhood sweetheart left. Her childhood sweetheart comes back. There's a little bit of tension. I was like, okay, interesting. And then her brother also comes back. Okay, cool. It's never really explained why it's never really explained why the brother comes back, I should say. She is rightfully angry at these people because her brother hasn't even been keeping in contact with them. Like, if someone leaves in this day and age, you all have cell phones. Like, freaking give someone a call, give them a text that you're still alive. Her anger was rational, and everyone was like, you need to forgive your brother. He came back. Like, no. And they're twins, so like the connection is even deeper. Really, I should have DNF'd this book when, in the middle, the love interest who has been around, who has been talking to her and flirting with her and trying to kiss her, when this love interest revealed that he was engaged. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it's not like she was the one pursuing him because he came back and she wanted to. She was consistently avoiding him, trying to stay out of his way, didn't want to get her heart broken again. And this man has the audacity to pursue her and flirt with her and then be like, I was trying to tell you I'm engaged because she's pregnant. And how am I supposed to root for this romance when this man comes back and says, she's pregnant and I'm engaged, I'm gonna marry her even though I really love you? I do not root for that kind of romance. Girl, he's trash. Throw him in the trash. Get rid of him. He doesn't really love you. He wouldn't, why would he do this to you if he loved you? Selfish. And then I'm just gonna, like, spoilers. We're gonna spoil this book because you don't need to read it, okay? You don't need to read it. This is about a woman who is made to sacrifice her happiness and herself for the men in her life, okay? And it's garbage. So she and her twin were, like, conceived through dark magic, which ick. And then her mother comes back after her grandmother dies, right? Because the magic kept her mother away, and now her mother can come back. And I did not trust her mother, not one little bit. I don't know what's happening, but this woman, there was all these magical reasons why she couldn't get in contact with them because of the curse. And it's like, that's too easy. She is valid to be angry and to not trust this person. And then, like, because of the magic, one of the twins will have to die because they weren't both supposed to live. And so in the end, she has to, like, sacrifice her magic and become a new person to save her twin brother, who gets to keep his magic that he's actually tortured by and doesn't even want. So, like, no, don't read it. I do not recommend this. 2 stars. And I honestly thought about giving it 1 star because I really should have DNF'd it. But I give it a 2nd star for the writing, okay? The food descriptions and the magic and the effects of, like, the tea and all of that was decent, and I can see why it was compared to practical magic. But overall, the whole plot, the whole romance, the way they treated this main character, no, don't read it. Do not recommend. And then I ended on a high note with 2 5 stars, the first of which is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I listened to this on audio, and I think that might be the key to loving an Emily Henry, because the 2 that I listened to on audio, 5 stars. The one I read physically, 4 stars. Just saying, Happy Place might have to be on audio. I just think the banter in this is top tier. I read several reviews on Goodreads beforehand that kind of made me think I wouldn't like this. They kind of acted like the older sister was like babying her younger sister and acting like she couldn't take care of herself. I didn't see that at all. Their, mother has passed away and they had to take care of each other. Everything made sense in this to me, and I loved the kind of play on tropes that you see about like the big city person going to a small town and then falling in love and realizing like that small town is where they want to be. I love the play on that trope. So Nora is a big city woman. She is a book agent. She's known as the Shark. She's a badass, basically. And Charlie is a book editor and he is very cold. They have this run-in, they have a meeting, he rejects a book and she gets all salty about it. So they're kind of enemies, but then they run into each other in this small town while she's on vacation. And it was just so enjoyable. It was funny. It was sweet. I liked the romance. I liked both the characters. I wanted them to be happy. I teared up several times. I listened to most of this at work, so I couldn't full on cry, but I probably would have full on cried like 2 times during this book. Absolutely loved it. Top tier. Maybe my favorite Emily Henry so far. So maybe I should listen to the audiobook for Beach Read and see if that changes anything for me, but I think this is the one for me. And finally, another book I listened to on audio was These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. I'm so mad that it has taken me like 4 years to read this because it was so good. It's YA. It's got a little bit of fantasy sprinkled in because these girls are witches. Our main character is an elemental and she is dealing with a recent breakup. Her best friend, who then they started dating, so it's sapphic. They broke up recently. The ex-girlfriend wants her back, is kind of dogging her, being like, we were so good together, but not listening to like why she broke up with her. And then some mysterious things start happening at one of their school bonfires. Someone tried to do a ritual and someone got hurt. And then just some things are happening in this witch coven that both girls belong to. Well, also a new girl is being introduced to our main character. She is in dance with the main character's best friend. And it was high stakes. It was nonstop. There was good character building, good tension, good romance. It was just so well done. And it has a sequel. I can't wait to get to the sequel. I need to maybe go to Second and Charles or something and try and find it in hardcover because the sequel in hardcover is sold out online. So I'm gonna have to get it used, which is fine. But like I can't buy the soft cover of the second when I have the first in hardcover. It just doesn't work like that. This was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed every aspect of it. And this also made me want to cry at the end. I was listening at work, so I had to like keep it in. But yeah, that ending, woof. So glad I finally read this, and it makes me even more excited because Isabel Sterling wrote a vampire book, and if this is her debut and it's this good, can't wait to read that other one. So those were the 12 books I read in November. Literally half of them were 5 stars, 6 out of 12. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, if you want to see more about what I read in December, you could click that subscribe button, you could click that like button, but really, you can do whatever you want, and I'll see you next time.